Good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of Materia Medica. We have learned in depth regarding the silicia in last three lectures. A big polycrest and very close to the silicia is one more remedy, and which is also having that much of depth which silicia has, and that much of dimensions. Every part, every system it touches is the Calcarea. So we have to learn today the Calcarea Carbonicum. It is in fact a ester shell, a calcium carbonate, very important remedy because it is part and parcel of our constitution. And being a constitutional remedy, it affects or it acts everywhere inside your body. Before entering into the Allen's notes, I will going to share few cases where I have utilized Calcarea. In fact, generally it never happens that a day is gone without the Calcarea. Every day we used to prescribe the Calcarea because it is so useful in day-to-day practice, even in children, even in adults. Wonderful remedy to be utilized. And that's why the few cases which I have selected in my practice where I have utilized Calcarea cow not as a common remedy but uncommonly prescribed over there. First case I recollect is the case of bleeding PV. A case, she was a diagnosed lady, a case of fibroid uterus at the age of 35 years. And she was brought to me by someone. Actually, she had a fear. She was advised to go for hysterectomy and she had a fear in mind to go for operation at the age of 35. And she doesn't want to lose her uterus. And that fear was there in her mind. So when she entered, she was very typical constitution, having a constitution that is fat, fair, flabby, chubby, everything which was there in her case. But these constitutions one should not take into consideration every time while prescribing. Those are only supporting measures. Unless and until the whole case defines the remedy, you should not prescribe. So she brought the reports and there was diagnosed case that multiple fibroids were there in her case. So I took each and every detail, the whole case taking was done, and all things found to be a Calcarea. There was craving for eggs, there was craving for sour things, there was craving for pica, indigestible things, there was a lot of sweating around the head, that was another thing which was present. Many things which has denoted this is Calcarea and only Calcarea constitution. So after taking into consideration one important symptom which she has denoted, she was very excitable lady, and something if excites, she used to get the bleeding, her vaginal bleeding. Because of which she went to a gynecologist, then she asked to go for USG, and then she was diagnosed. And then she told, even there is a happy event happens in my life and I get excited, immediately bleeding starts. I get stress, immediately the bleeding starts. And that was unique thing which denotes me to confirm, yes, this is Calcarea. So I have given her Calcarea and I have given in her case Calcarea in 30 potency for 3-4 days, followed by a placebo, and I think I have added over there a Calcarea fluoride. I don't recollect, it's a way back, but I have treated that lady nearly about a year. Gradually increased the doses from 30 to 100, 1 m, 10 m, 50 mcm in a year, and got rid of all the fibroids, got rid of all complaints. Basically, the excitement which was used to cause the PV bleeding, that was totally stopped immediately after the Calcarea started. So it was interesting thing in her case which denoted the Calcarea carb in that lady. Rest of the things were there, yes, definitely, because of which it was more and more confirmed Calcarea. But that was unique thing which was present in that case. So that I have treated with Calcarea Carb right from 32 cm in that lady, and that was wonderful case. Another child, a child was brought, a 5 years child. A diagnosis was Hirschsprung disease, a paralytic ileus. Since birth, he had constipation and he was not able to pass stools, and they have to give enema and remove it mechanically many times. And then there were a lot of investigations have been done and then found to be a diagnosed a case of Hirschsprung disease. And 3 times there was an operative done. The paralytic part of the intestine was removed first during first operation. Again, it recurred. Then second time, the third time he was operated, and thereafter, even after removing those paralytic parts, he had the similar symptoms. And they were saying that one more operation we have to perform, and patient refused because they don't have that capacity to pay. And second important thing, that child was getting day by day, a week and week. When you look towards the child, you cannot find this is Calcarea child because he have not fat hair flabby at all. He lost his weight. In fact, the mother said he was very good at the birth. His weight was 3.5 kg at the birth. But later on, after the surgery, he lost his weight. And the child was absolutely dull, slow, doesn't have a strength, never carries a strength. And she has explained few important things again, with which I was considering what may be the remedy. I was thinking about it, paralytic ileus, but I forgot that diagnosis in that case. Then I took all the generalities, all the physical generals, then personal history, and where those craving things I would got. He was having very much craving for the eggs, but at the same time, mother told he never looks towards the milk. He got nausea. He never likes milk in any form. Then third important thing which she has told, that whenever he sleeps, he sweats a lot around the head. Basically, there is a lot of sweating from the posterior side, and his whole pillow becomes wet during the sleep. That was another feature which was confirming the remedy. The third important thing, he never passes stools for a week of chronic constipation. And whenever he tries to pass it, there is a lot of difficulty. Many times we have to remove it by putting the hands over there, fingers over there. And and stools are quite hard to start with. All those things which were denoting again the Calcarea. But I was thinking it is a paralysis and Calcarea is sorry, sorry, whether it will work or not. That thought was there in my mind. But when I read the Calcarea from different sources, it was way back. I have treated that case in 1996. So I thought to give the Calcarea first, but that was the first time I have utilized the Calcarea in LM because I wanted to repeat the remedy in that case. And I have started Calcarea Carb LM1 repeated doses 3 times, 4 times a day, and continued it. But to my surprise, after starting the Calcarea, he started getting out of that his problem. Gradually, he started getting stools in once into 3 days, then later on every 2 days, then later every day. And this, as I have, in fact, I have treated that patient nearly about 2 years. And in between period, I have started with LM1 and I have reached to the LM30 in that case because the state has not changed. And in fact, after starting the Calcarea LM1, LM2, LM3, he gradually started putting on weight. That was an interesting part. Then he becomes a completely full, fully healthy child, looking like a healthy child, like a chubby with fat, everything. But he was not like that to start with the case. And that was a very good case, her crew disease, and I have treated that in 1996. It was a wonderful case for me to treat. And I thought, and at that time I considered, yes, this is the remedy which has that depth to reach to that level. So Hirschsprung disease case, that was the second case. The third case which I have treated recently, very recently, is a case of polycystic ovarian disease. And that girl, just 17 years of age, had bilateral cyst, and she never used to get menses in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. And she said that she was unless and until she took the hormones, she never gets the menses. And her weight was 78 kg. She was short stature, not even completely 5 foot, little bit less than 5 foot. And she was having that whole darkness of the neck area, darkness over there, nasal folds, then around the mouth, the darkness was there, acanthis, which we can call it, that was very typically present. But she was quite obese, and that chubbiness was there. Then I took whole history, and again I got all those generalities which are common to the Calcarea, which denotes yes, she's Calcarea, she's Calcarea, she's Calcarea. So I have considered all those things, the cravings, the aversions, the stools, the perspiration, everything. And everything was denoting again same thing. But one thing which was there, which was very special for that lady, is that she was absolutely insecure mental. I asked her, what you want to be? And she was not confident. She has passed the 12th and she was not confident to what to do. She was absolutely insecure. That insecurity, mental insecurity, is always there with the Calcarea. She came along with her mother, and whenever I used to ask anything, she used to look towards the mother, and mother tries to tell her, yes, tell this. This was very typical. Calcarea doesn't have their own stage generally. They're dependent. Baratas are absolutely dependent. Calcarea are little bit dependent. Calcarea goes for it, but before that they are having a cowardiceness, lack of grit, very close to the Cilicia in this manner. So she was like that. And again, I have utilized the Calcarea in this case. I have utilized Calcarea with moderate potency, 200, 6 doses, 3 days, 3 doses on day one, 3 doses second day, and I have continued her only on placebo. I want to confirm whether how it works, and she never had menses since last 6 months. So I said, let us see what happens. Tell me after 15 days, and I have given whole diet, complete diet, how to follow and how to go ahead, and she was ready to do that. After 15 days, when she returned, she has reduced 4.5 kg weight, whole edema all over the body that had disappeared. And after starting the Calcarea cup, on the fourth day, she got the menses. So, remedy was very clear. Now, 3 months have been passed, 2 months have been passed, and now she has reduced nearly about 12 kgs. And second time menses appeared consecutively on the same day. She was too happy that this has happened. First time after starting the menarche in 12 years of age. She got early menses in her life. She was in just sixth standard and she got the first menses. That is also one of the feature of the Calcarea. Precocious puberty is there. And that's why it was a wonderful remedy to which have multiple facets. That is the third case which I have treated. I'm she's on Calcarea 1M now and with placebo and she's doing very well. So that is third case. The fourth case was a case I have treated way back where I was in doubt whether it will work or not because that was a child of 4 years, late learning to walk and had a curvature of the bones, rickets. So there were curvatures, bones were not having the strength, and she was not able to push that guy was not able to walk properly, and whenever he was walking, he was not able to run, and all those things were their matters. And then they told the history that since birth he was not getting proper food. His mother never had milk secretion, and he was bottle fed baby, and he was not able to digest the milk over there. That was the problem at the start, and he developed all those things later on. Then there was a characteristic constipation, that hard stools followed by soft stools, which was there. The sweating, typical of the Calcarea, profuse head sweat, offensive. That was one more thing which was present in that case. And one important thing, that he used to crave that indigestible things. In fact, he used to lick the walls. That was very typical in 1 years before. So Calcarea was confirmed, and Calcarea was given to him. In that case, I have started with Calcarea 30 in repeated doses, because I was expecting good result, and it has been told by Allen that Calcarea in children it should be repeated, or it can be repeated, but in old people or in young adults it should not be given too frequently. So I have repeated Calcarea Carb nearly about 15 to 20 days in 30 potency, and gradually he develops so nicely. Within span of 6 months, the whole bones becomes normal. He started eating properly, his diet has improved, and then he got the strength and everything. Where there was a doubt in my mind whether our remedies work at that level, because he was already consumed a lot of calcium in material form by the pediatricians, even along with vitamin D they have given, but nothing was working. But after Calcarea Cup 30 in repeated doses, it worked so beautifully. That was the fourth case which was very interesting regarding it. And then common cases, day-to-day life with children's common cold and with all typical constitution, this often gets in our OPD. But those are common pictures which everyone used to get. So I don't want to go to that. Now we'll start with the Allen, and we'll learn this remedy from Allen's keynotes. The name he has not mentioned, it is Calcarea Carbonicum, but he has written it as a Calcarea austriarum. It is the middle layer of oyster shell, calcium carbonate. See, every word, even it takes 3 or 4 lectures, it doesn't matter, but we have to learn each and every word from this. So we'll go ahead with this. First important thing, leucophlegmatic constitution. What is leucophlegmatic? Body is quite fat, fair, flabby. The face is pale, fair, and that is having a flabbiness. Leucophlegmatic, a good constitution. Blonde hair, it is little bit brownish blonde hair. Light complexion, so it is not dark, it is light complexion, fairness. Blue eyes, that is the common thing in European countries. Fair skin, and tendency to obesity in youth. Underline this, tendency to obesity in youth, specifically in young girls. Specifically in young girls, I would say. Nowadays, this is very common with polycystic ovarian disease. This constitution, which used to get off and on very commonly in young girls. Now, the chubby babies you never get commonly. Now you get very weak babies. A tubercular personality is very commonly the present generation. The children's small children, you get more of a tubercular type. That is tall, slender, weak, emaciated, narrow chested. All those things you can get in children. But in young age, you get more Calcarea-like constitution, and that is because of the bad food habits, the junk food, and all those matter and stuff that creates the or changes the constitution. So specifically the obesity, tendency to obesity in youth is very characteristic, specifically in girls you can get. Soric constitutions. The constitution is soric. What is soric constitution? When you think about the soric constitution, that means basically It is averagely built, averagely nourished. It looks like that. Even though it obese, the person never feels obese. In Calcarea, this is very characteristic. Weight, if you check their weight is more than normal, but their build is so good that you cannot find it out the obesity over there very easily. Only thing is that flabbiness is there, the chubby structure is there, but patient is basically looked like a normal. So psoric constitutions were pale, weak, timid, easily tired when walking. They are quite pale. Second important, they are quite weak, even though the body is good. They are weak. They get breathless when they walk fast. They are slow walkers. There is slowness is the characteristic of the Calcarea carp. They walk slow, their activities are slow. And whenever they try to do it fast, they get breathless. And that's why that weakness is expressing through the breathlessness. Timid. Timidity is very characteristic of carbon group of remedies. Calcarea carp, it is very marked. They're quite timid. They cannot get mixed very easily with the others. They cannot comes in front of you directly. Whenever they never gives eye to eye contact to you directly. This is very common with the Calcarea carp. Barata absolutely hides their faces. But Calcarea, at least they look towards you, but they avoid the look because they are timid, shy, easily tired when walking. That's what we have discussed. That they gets very easily tired. Disposed to grow fat, written in bold. When it is written in bold, it has a meaning. It is two important symptom of the Calcarea carp that there is tendency to grow the fat. Corpulent body is full of muscles, corpulent, full of muscles, fats, everything, unwildly. So these are the very, very important features. You can find it out very easily the Calcarea constitution. Look toward the patient and you catch is this might be Calcarea constitution, which you can very easily catch. Children with red face, flabby muscles. Children with red face, the face is red, flabby muscles, who sweat easily. So sweating is quite common over there and take cold readily in consequence. Takes the cold readily in consequence. So very easily they gets affected because of the cold drafts. Little change in the environment affects these children and they comes with running nose or blocked nose. Basically the blocked nose is very characteristic with the Calcarea with a thick discharge from the nose, little bit watering from the eyes, but basically the common is the stuffed nose. And this is because of the change of weather and this is very common with the Calcarea carp. Then the constitution in children, how it is. Large heads and abdomens. Cilicia, we have seen the same thing. Large heads and abdomen, fontanelles and sutures open. So fontanelles are open suture, and that's why you make a habit of checking the fontanelles whenever you are clinically examining the children. Make a habit of that. That defines you very clearly the constitution easily, and that's why in Calcarea carp, in Cilicia, the sutures are not getting healed. Late healing of the fontanelles. So fontanelles and sutures open, bones soft, develop very slowly. Slow development of the bones. This is two important feature of this remedy. Very slow. And they are slow at all levels. Curvature of bones. Just now I had discussed the case of rickets and this is first remedy. Along with that, Calcarea first plays very vital role in such types of cases. Better I will tell you my practical aspect of utilizing Calcarea carp. I used to use it in homeopathic doses followed by the Calcarea first 6 in biochemic, and that works very fast. The speed of the recovery hastens because of using the biochemics in your practice. And that's why it is a very important remedy which you can add over there. Curvatures of bones, especially spine and long bones. So specifically the spine, the long bones, there is a lot of curvature, extremities are crooked, deformed, bones irregularly developed. So improper development of the bones, very important feature. There are curvatures of the bones, the rickettsial features, which are quite common, deformities in the bones. So it has a capacity to dissolve the osteophytes also. Improper assimilation, improper assimilation leading to the problems of the bones. The Calcarea is the remedy. Improper assimilation leading to weakly children is the abrotanum or silicia. So there is a difference in the where that assimilation affects. In Calcarea, it affects the bones. It never affects the whole body. It affects the bones basically. So defective assimilation always produces the problems of the bone. Then we'll discuss the only two more lines. Head sweats profusely while sleeping, wetting the pillow far around, like silica and sanigula. And this sweating is there from the posterior part of the head. And you can commonly see in the children, if they are chubby enough, they have sparse hairs and they lose hairs. Here there is a lot of loss of hairs or baldness which appears over there on the posterior part. This is quite common with the Calcareans. So head sweats profusely while sleeping, wetting pillow far around, profuse perspiration mostly on back of head and neck or chest and upper part of the body, very similar to the silicia. But it is more strongly there in the Calcarea than silica. Silica, you get more palms and soles where you get the sweating. In Calcarea, it is basically over the head and posterior part of the head you found to get the sweating, and it is so severe that it wets the pillow. So I think we'll stop over here because this is a big remedy. We'll take two more lectures on Calcarea cough because there are many things to share and learn in Calcarea cough. So my suggestion to all of you that be there with all those lectures. You'll learn many things from this, many things from this, specifically
Sir,
from the Calcarea. So Calcarea has this wide aspect. You have to understand that constitutional features and all those things, everything matters a lot, and that gives exactly the Calcarea feel. If you are able to catch that feel of a Calcarea, then Calcarea gives you results, and then you have to develop your own understanding regarding the potency selection in Calcarea. So once you understand the potency selection properly, then you can get many times all those things in practice. Congenital, there were many questions asked. Congenital Bega colon, toothpaste like stools. Sir, what are the difference between the SiO2? I could not get SiO2 and Calcarea means you want to differentiate between silica and Calcarea. That will going to do again and again. Already we have discussed it. We're going to discuss that while discussing the whole remedy again and again. So that will be there within next 2-3 lectures. Many adults have curvatures of leg bones. That curvature is because of the degeneration of the knees. That is called as bowing of the legs. That is because of the knee degeneration, the bowing happens. That is also one remedy you can think of a Calcarea in such types of cases, but it is not always Calcarea over there. That curvature is degenerative curvature. It is not because of lack of calcium which happens to be there. It is because of the degeneration. So there you can think of syphilinum as an intercurrent remedy, and rest of the remedies depending upon the uh, presentation or depending upon the constitution of that person. Yes, Utpal, you want to say something?
sir, in Calcarea, there is a line large head and abdomen. Why it's sir, head and abdomen? But in case of sweating, head is only there. Total, it is
I
head
couldn't
and abdomen.
I couldn't understand
In one,
properly. What is your
sir,
question?
in one line, large head is written and also abdomen. But in case of sweating, it is only head. Why it is so, sir?
Why it is no? It is because it is Calcarea. That is the characteristic of the Calcarea. Why you cannot explain? That is the
No, sir. It
constitution
is
of Calcarea. That's why that is the individuality of the Calcarea.
no, it is okay, sir. But it is in plural. One is plural and another is singular. That's why large head and sweat from head.
No. Which line you are explaining? Large heads and abdomens. That is the first line. Then fontanelles and sutures opens. Bones soft develop very slowly. What is your query?
Query is that it is in plural. But in case of sweating, head sweats profusely while sleeping. It is in plural. Actually, my query is why it is in plural, sir. Abdomen and head.
Can you write over there? It will be better for me. Because your pronunciation I could not get properly. You write over there, I can answer your query. You just write it over there so that I can very easily explain. Sri Darshan
Okay,
here has asked, in case of history of poliomyelitis with deformed bone, can we think of Calcarea if the case matches? If the constitution matches, definitely. But poliomyelitis is there. Generally, poliomyelitis goes in favor of the plumbum metallicum. It is a very important remedy for the for the such types of paralysis, basically. So instead of thinking of a Calcarea, you must think a remedy which acts at the nervous system. And this is secondary to the, if it is secondary to the poliomyelitis, you have to think about the remedy which covers that. Plumbum is the very important remedy for the infantile paralysis. That is also called as an infantile paralysis. Okay. Utpal, have you written that? If it has been, then I can answer your queries. Large head and abdomen. These are pure. These large heads and abdomen. So this has been written regarding the children. It is not related with single child. This is written in plural only because this Calcarea. This is a theme which is explained regarding the Calcarea children. So when you are talking about the children, not about child, then it has been written like that: child, large heads and abdomens. So this is related with all Calcarea children. So this is in plural only because he's not explaining single child, he's explaining many children.
But in case of head sweat probably head only single.
That doesn't matter. We have to understand what he has mentioned over there.
No, I want to say, is there anything
No. It is
differentiate
only
heads and head?
whenever you talk about the single part head, when you are talking about the head, it is related to the head only. Earlier part is related with the generality. That is the general constitution. How is the constitution? So you never talk about single child. You talk about the whole many children. So that's why it was written like large heads and abdomens. But here he started explaining about the specific particular part only, explaining the characteristic of a particular part. That's why he has written head sweats profusely while sleeping, wetting pillow far around. So that is been related with the single part. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So that's all for today. Thank you being there, everyone, and be there again on the Monday, not tomorrow. We'll meet on Monday with the same remedy. I think it will require 3 or 4 settings to learn complete Calcarea Cup. My suggestion to all of you is go through this book. This is very important book, the Paul Herskew's book. It gives nearly 44 pages. He has written the Calcarea Cup over there. He has written only 9 remedies, and he says 90% of the pediatric OPD is based upon these 9 remedies, and I'm definitely in with Paul Husky. Yes, this happens quite commonly, and he has written the depth of each and every remedy in that book.
Author of the book, sir?
Paul Husky, Paul, Paul
Oh,
Husky,
full book, sir.
HERSCU. You can just see this book,
Paul Hurstwood.
Husky. Yes,
Yes.
the homeopathic treatment of children, pediatric constitutional types, and only 9 remedies are mentioned. Whole book. A wonderful book to read. So thank you being there. We'll conclude and we'll meet on Monday. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.